Danke. All right, so this is from a place called Super Deals. Now, right around the corner, I have a Super Deals I could pretty much walk to if I wasn't old and lazy. But this comic book, or this Super Deals I have, has no comics. Is oh my gosh, compared to the one in North Myrtle Beach, is extremely small. The one in North Myrtle Beach, huge. I mean, it's massively huge. I took some pictures and posted them because it's massive. It's such a big store on the inside. It's like the TARDIS. You go inside and it's bigger on the outside or inside than it is on the outside. All right, so I did carefully pick my comics from here because they're not $1. They're not $12 or $10. They're $1.99 each. They had a lot of stuff that you would find in the dollar bin, so most of this stuff I picked for a reason. I had to pick very carefully because I don't usually like to pay $2 a comic when I go to a place and look through their stuff. All right, this one for two reasons. Number one, I've never heard of Explorers. It looked interesting. It's by Explorer Press. Number two, it's like there's a dinosaur, there's people, I don't know what they're doing. They're hunting. It's also signed by the artist and writers, I suppose, because it's got the signature here and here, and that's not on the original. So I don't know anything about this comic, and I'm wondering if anybody out there has actually read this. I've never heard of it. Evidently, Roy Tate has read it. Kat, somebody, Tony Isabella, and the Comic Shop News. Next issue, Once Upon a Time in the West. It's a black and white, the Andy Griffith story. I was about to say, is it a comic book at all? It was a lot of writing right there. So it's a black and white. So it's very different. I just thought I would definitely want to check it out. This looks a lot like Image Comics, the way they write this. Mount Airy, North Carolina. That's really interesting. So it's actually Mount Airy, North Carolina, which is way far north and west of me, but same state. I'm trying to see. Oh, 1995. Yeah, okay, so 1995. That was cool. Actually, I used to get some of the independent comics back in 1995. I finally got a hold of a Spider-Girl comic. It's one of those things that I never see in the wild. I don't know if they're just ultra rare or what, but I've been wanting Spider-Girl numbers 1 through 10, or 1 through 100, but I don't want to pay more than $1 each. $2, it's my first one ever, so it's got Nova in it. This is from the MC2 universe, which is the future, which technically is our past now. But when it was printed, it was slightly in the future. It was the children of the current superheroes. This is the child of guess who? Superman? No, Spider-Man. So yeah, it's Spider-Man's daughter. And yes, I already have the Exciting X Patrol, but man, I love amalgams. If I see an amalgam in the dollar bin or whatever, I'm gonna grab it. If for no other reason, just to pass on the love to somebody else who hasn't read it yet. But yeah, the Exciting X Patrol, fantastic comic. Yeah, I probably would have left it behind, but I was in such a mood that I was going ahead and bought more. I don't see a lot of hex. Now, I have grabbed a few dollar hexes at the place in North Myrtle Beach, the other place, which I'll do that one some other time because there's $60 worth of stuff from there, 72 comics. But I got number 18, which I think is the last one. I didn't care for the art on the cover, but it's saying that it's the last hex story, so I was like, I better grab it because usually the last few comics in a series, which not a very long series, they're usually the hardest to get. It's like people gave up by that point. Like the last G.I. Joe comics, no, it's impossible to get those. And then Hex number 12. I used to love Hex back when I was a kid. I liked the concept of cowboy comics, but they didn't have a lot of them back in the late 70s, early 80s. And then Hex came along and he was kind of like, well, here we go. We're either in the future or some spacey area, either in space. I don't remember. I need to go back and reread them. That's why I'm getting them. I don't know if I want to start with number 1 or just go ahead and start reading. This issue is number 3. I have numbers 1 and 2. I guess I'm just going to buy one at a time, just like in the good old days. Nice grabs. Hey, cheap comic book collectors. Yeah, these are some I got from that place called Super Deals. It's a resale store kind of place. They bought out a comic book shop, and they have a lot. I posted pictures on my Instagram of it. But yeah, Mutant X. I enjoyed the issue number 1. I have to read number 2, and so on. Sentinel. I don't know. There's 2 different Sentinel series. I can't remember. I don't know. You can't tell apart. So I don't know which one this is of, but I did read a few Sentinel comics. Kind of interesting. It reminds me of that story. What is it called? The Iron something. The Iron, not Ironmonger. It's the Iron. It's like this big robot becomes a friend with a kid. The Iron something. It's a movie we watched a long time ago. Iron Giant. That was it. The Iron Giant. It's kind of the Iron Giant set in Marvel Universe. All right, this was just weird. I'm like, sometimes I just have to take a hint. And it's not an offbeat comic. It's by Epic. It's not like some company you never heard of. So I was like, you know what? I like Samurai Pizza Cats. It's one of my quirky, deep cut comics that I enjoyed reading. And this one's not Samurai Pizza Cats, but it is Samurai Cat. I was like, I gotta give it a chance. This looks really funny. It looks a lot of fun. It was like, oh, no, I didn't expect that to be in there. I didn't even look through the issue when I was in there. I was just, the cover alone said, gotta buy it. It reminds me of Gru somewhat with Samurai Pizza Cats. Now it reminds me more of Conan. All right, Excalibur. This was the good Excalibur era. Like, I know the first 2 or 3 years of Excalibur were fantastic. I read some of these. I don't ever remember reading this issue. They look like cartoony action figures here. So I don't know, but number 18, I definitely remember reading this one back in the day. So I want to read it again to see what I didn't understand back then. And then this issue, I vaguely remember it, but I don't remember if I ever read it. So yeah, I definitely love the older Excalibur stuff. I need to read up to get to the new stuff. And Justice number 6 is what I bought yesterday. Yesterday when I was going through my comics I got through the mail from cheap comic collectors, I was like, oh no, I bought another one twice. No, I didn't. It was number 6 I bought. I would like to get all 12 of these eventually. I heard it was a really good story. Mark off of the, I'm having a brain fart, but he always talks about it, and I'm like, yeah, I've kind of always wanted to read it, especially one of the follow-up stories. This is the one I got yesterday, and it's exactly the same one because it has not got a barcode. I'm like, oh well. I love Justice League America. It's got two guys facing off each other that are great. What can you say? If I didn't know I had it, I know I wouldn't have picked it up because I'm like, I don't like to have the same book twice unless it's something phenomenal. Like, I mean, this is probably good, but it's more of a filler book, to be completely honest with you. Anytime I see Amalgam, they're so amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Marvel took over Star Trek for a while there. Those things are hard to find for some reason, and I found Untold Voyages. One other thing is the comic books, I was like, nothing's in order. I thought y'all bought a comic book thing out. And he's like, they were at first. I'm like, how did they get so disorganized? I found one of these, and I hoped there would more Star Treks around. No more Star Treks. I did find this one a little bit later, so Mind Meld, and I found another one. So these two I think are in the same series, but other than the numbering and the dates, I wouldn't have known that. I thought New Frontiers was its own thing. I like Star Trek New Frontiers. No, but that's just the title, like Mind Meld. So yeah, I love Star Trek, especially the first series, the 1980, I think it was 81. Fantastic. I read the first, I want to say 15 issues, and I really loved how it did everything in that comic book. Made me go, I guarantee you, with the Next Generation people took everything from this comic book to make Next Generation, because it has a Klingon as a member. It has the splitting saucer section. That was the first time I ever saw it was in this comic book series. So it makes it almost like Next Generation is not as amazing as it used to be, but I still love Next Generation. Superboy, I have just a few that I need to fill in. Usually I would just get them for $1, except for, of course, number 9. Yeah, I still have a few to fill in. I'd never find these latter ones. Like, again, it went through number 100, but as you got toward the end, they become rarer and rarer. Like, you could find Superboy number 3 all day long. I mean, I find it all the time. Like, the first 12 issues of Superboy, I find, except for number 9, but I find those over and over and over again every time I go to a dollar bin. These last few issues, you rarely find them. And this one doesn't even have, these don't even have the covering, the plastic coverings that most of the comics had. Most of the comics there had. So if you want to go to North Myrtle Beach and go to this place, it's not hard to find. It's near the PGA store. It's on the left side going down, right side coming up. All right, and then I got some of the All-Star Squadrons. I had so many of these when I was a kid. I don't know what happened to them, but I definitely loved reading them. I definitely want to read them again. So I got The Shining Knight, number 62. I love how her tiara is on the outside. I always thought that was interesting, how there was these slight, tiny little differences between our superheroes and Earth 2 superheroes. And this was all pre-Crisis. Actually, we're getting up to the Crisis era, so that's probably what killed the All-Star comics. I'm not sure. That's what I like to know, is like, what happened before Crisis and after Crisis? What completely changed? So I feel like this died. I don't know. I mean, that's one of those things that I wish maybe somebody on YouTube did do a before Crisis, after Crisis, what changed? Because I mean, it was one of those times where I was still reading, but some things died, some things didn't. And then we got, this is Robot Man, the awesome origin of Robot Man. Not the Robot Man that we all know. So it's a different one from the Golden Age. I'm so used to the Robot Man from Doom Patrol, so it's a little different seeing this guy. He was pretty common in All-Star Comics. All-Star Squadron, sorry. All-Star Comics, I don't remember being in that. I remember Power Girl in that. And then Logan's Run. It's one of those TV series that I wanted to stay up and watch. Mom wouldn't let me. She's like, no, you got to go to sleep. You can't stay up that late. And so it's always been one of these intriguing things. And I need to just get on YouTube and go Logan's Run episode and find all the episodes and watch them. I'm sure there's not that many episodes because I don't think it ran that long. But it was always one of these things that intrigued me as a kid. Probably because I couldn't stay up late and watch it. That was always no, you can't watch it. Now I want to watch it. It's like, she would have told me, like, I don't know, some boring show like Dynasty. Oh, you can't watch Dynasty. You can't stay up that late. I'd probably be like, oh, I need to see Dynasty now. Nobody needs to see Dynasty. Nobody. All right, so which one of these is your favorite? I'm interested by Logan's Run, but it's not going to be my gotta read right now pile. These I want to read, but I want to read them in order because I feel like it's an ongoing story. It really builds upon each other. Superboys, I was reading those for a while there pretty steadily, the older ones, and I start hitting holes, and I'm like, I hate having holes in my collection. I already know what number 9 is about because I had that back in the day. I never knew it was going to be expensive. These may be standalone reads. I don't remember it. I remember the Teen Titans. I'm trying to speak in too many words at times. The Next Generation were definitely 2 episodes. It was like issue 1, issue 2 went together. Issue 3 and issue 4 went together. So you had to have back-to-back on those. Like I said, this one might be one. I don't know. This one is definitely going to hold off till I get all 12 to read them. Excalibur, I could probably read those off like out of order. This, okay, I might have to read this first. Just because, even though it's number 2, just to see what it's about. Although, I'm going to have to get my black marker. Where did I put my black marker? It's right over here. Sometimes when I'm reading a comic, I'll see things I got to edit. And so I'll take my black marker and edit it. Maybe make like a swimsuit for somebody who's a little immodest. I know some of you are like, well, no! And Bub's out there somewhere crying right now, no! Have you checked out the new Cobra Commander comic? If I checked out anything new at all, no. I tried Sinister Sons because I did like Super Sons, which was fun. Sinister Sons, I was like, please, no, this is horrible. I don't know what they were thinking. And it's by the same guy, which didn't make sense because Super Sons, I guess it's because Super Sons, we know Batman, we know Superman. It's just them in child form, basically. So it's more funny and more quirky. Sinister Sons, I don't know who. I mean, it just wasn't good. So no, I don't get any new comics. I like old stuff. Old is gold. This one, This one, yeah, I need to read number 2 before I read that. I did read number 1. The Hexes, I could probably read out of order. X Patrol, I've read this one before. Definitely a good read. Spider-Girl, yeah, I could probably read that one next. All right, so probably the order I'm going to read them in this. This is the 3 that I'm going to read right away because this one is unusual, never heard of it, something new, same for that. Spider-Girl, I just want to see how connected she is to the other superheroes in that universe because I love the MC2 universe. I thought it was fantastic. So, the Cobra Commander comic, is that something you're getting right now? Are you getting current stuff like that? Because I don't have a comic book shop near me. For one thing, that's another thing too. I find them where I can. They have the comic shop. They have the original G.I. Joe. They have the Weirdest Hours. No, well, we don't have any comic book shops anywhere near me. I have to go to our that way to go to Wilmington, which right now I'm not going anywhere near Wilmington. I go an hour that way to get to one, but I don't really want to drive an hour just to get a weekly comic or a monthly comic. It's hard to catch them open. Yeah. Trying to think. Like I thought the comic book not comic book shop. There is a Marvel only comic book shop over in Sunset Beach, but it's only Marvel comics. Now they have started selling some DC stuff, but not brand new. So I'm like, I think it's a distributor thing. Plus, the owner only likes Marvel comics. He's like, DC. I'm like, oh, well, we're not going to get along too well because I'm more of a DC person than I'm a Marvel person. If I had to pick one, it'd be DC. I just prefer DC stuff. I don't want to pick though. I like having a diverse comic field. So yeah, we don't have any comic book shops near here. Maybe I should make one. I just put a bunch of money in a CD today. In 5 months, maybe I should open a comic book shop. No, anyway, just yeah, like some people they have comic book shops. We don't have anything. We have right now tourist. That's all we have. We sell a lot of tourist stuff. That's a tourist trap here. So I got to go all the way out to North Myrtle Beach for their comic books. And this is, again, a place called Super Deals. Check them out. They have pretty cheap toys, too. Oh, yeah, should have brought that in here. Yeah, it's not important. They have, they don't have, it seems like they have a lot of stuff. I mean, I felt like blown away by it. It was just a lot of stuff. Some local, otherwise it's just a flea market, finds, etc. But your flea market finds new, because I remember back when I was in college in the early 90s, I would walk down the train tracks 2 miles to get to the flea market. Oh, no, never mind. There was a comic book shop close enough to this. I'm trying to remember where I got my new comic books back then. But I remember one time looking for the new Superman died. Like when Superman died, I actually walked down the train tracks to the flea market looking all over those places trying to find if anybody had that comic. Because I think that there's a guy in a trailer. Oh, this is a long time ago in a place called Raleigh when I used to go to college there. There was a guy in a trailer. I think he had brand new comic books. I think he was a comic book shop guy, and this was his flea market kind of weekend thing. And he usually had new stuff, but he was sold out. I remember he was sold out. Yeah, it's been so long. But when Superman died, I was trying to get that comic, and it was sold out at the Capitol Comics, which was right near the state. And there was a comic book shop across from there, but it was so posh, I hated it. It was just too nice looking. I was like, Capitol Comics was more like a comic shop. Like, I feel like I should walk into a comic shop and it should be smelling like old comics, and it should be crap everywhere. And I don't mean literal crap. I mean like comic book boxes overflowing all over the place, stacked all over themselves. That's a comic book shop, not something that's like you walk in, it's like, here is our 5 selections. Would you like me to go to the back and pick a clean one out for you? Yeah, no, that's just not for me. I like comic book shops that look like somebody has been buying and buying and buying, and they're going to cut you a deal. That's just me. But the luxury of having those, that's in a big city. I'd rather live here. And anyway, I'm babbling on. But hey, thanks for watching. And if you liked any of these or you read any of these, let me know, because like I said, I went through and I was hoping if there's anything in you that's like, oh my gosh, I got to read it now, I'd be interested in hearing what you got to say. I'm going to read this one and fix it. There's some things there clearly need to be fixed, and I will hopefully do a review for you soon. Y'all have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Unless there's any last, all hearts and minds cleared. Amen.